Mike.
Hey there, how you doing, Katie?
Good.
Good. So,
Hi, everybody.
oh, hey. So let's see. All right, John's got his up, but he needs to bring his phone up too. I see his home, but oh, there he is. Okay. Where is he? Hang on. A lot of people here. Let me go into a gallery view. So in the upper right corner, if you didn't already notice, there's a gallery view. If you go there, you can see everybody who's on, and if you want, you can go into the speaker view, and whenever the person is talking, it'll automatically switch to that person's image. And that's in the upper right-hand corner where it says speaker view and gallery view. You'll only see one because you can't have them both at the same time. Next to it is a button that says full screen or exit full screen. If you go into full screen, then it might be easier to see everybody here.
Okay.
I see.
Nope.
Are you not seeing it, Katie?
No, I'm not. I see you. I'm on my little telephone.
That's probably why. You're already in full screen. So I don't know if there's a speaker view. John, take a look at your cell phone and see if there's a button on there on the screen when you touch the screen, if it says speaker view or gallery view. I don't know if you get a gallery view in the telephone because it's such a small screen. I think it's whoever's talking.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
I do hear you now. And
Good.
you see that switch over to John?
Yes.
Okay, so it's in the speaker view for you. So if you're on a cell phone, that's speaker view. All right, so we'll just give a few minutes here, see who else might check in. I see Carol, AP4MD is here. Jerry, welcome. It's good to see you again. It's been a while. And then obviously we already saw John. I'm going to change John's name. So if you don't know who John is, in a second. John occupies two windows. He's using his phone for his video, and he's using his computer so he can see all full screen. So I'm going to rename John here. Here we go. So if you look around in the gallery view, John, I'll tell you what, let's just have Jerry, go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Gary, and I'm R4TH. I attended the club for about a year, and then last February was my last time to visit. I had some health issues, so I haven't been back. And now that I'm able to come back, I can't get back except through the system here. So it's good to be reconnected.
All right. And then I'm Mike, and 6M2, of course, who probably recognize me. I'm always talking. John, go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, I think you muted us. All right. John, you're on. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, this is John, WB6UBK. Is anybody out there?
Yeah, I'm out there, John. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. We hear you. Katie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Katie, KJ6YCP, and I'm home from my son's recovering from a broken leg.
Oh, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, it was a nasty looking ding in the leg there.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have. You're right, but we're glad to see that joining us. And then Carol, are you able to hear us? I don't see on your video. It looks like you're trying to do the screen, but you've got just a photograph. So Carol, why don't you introduce yourself? No idea. All right, let's move over to Dennis. Dennis, go ahead and introduce yourself if you would.
Hi, Mike. Hi, everybody. This is Dennis, KG6ZI.
Right, and then Erez. Erez, if you would introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. Erez KM6TVB.
And then let's see here, Art, if you would introduce yourself.
I'm Arthur, KD6GBY. I have a suggestion to make. I've been on several Zoom meetings over the last week, and I learned that it really helps if you adjust the audio. So if you all could kind of like follow at home. On your screen with the Zoom, on the lower left, there's an up caret. If you click that up caret and then go to audio settings, it's the very bottom one. And then on the a settings thing will come up. Go to the advanced, which is lower right. Okay, and then the lower right, it says audio processing, where it says suppress.
You cut out there.
Yeah, cut out there one more time.
Background noise. Disable that. Want to go over again?
Yeah, because you cut out.
Okay, can you hear me now? I know my internet is not good. Okay, up caret on the bottom left. Okay?
Yep.
Click that. A little box is going to pop. On the very bottom, it says audio settings. Click on that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, the box pops up. Very, very bottom off to the right, you'll see advanced. Click that.
Okay.
And then we're audio processing. It says suppress persistent background noise. Disable that.
Yeah.
And then to suppress intermittent background noise. Disable that.
Right.
Okay, if you do that, things will improve. Now, the other thing you can do is if you're not talking, mute, because it picks up everybody and gives some feedback.
Right.
Yeah, it's good to mute
If
if
you're
you.
not talking, mute. It really helps.
Yeah. Just so you know, for those interested, we are broadcasting on YouTube as well. So you should see that. And let's see, who else did not introduce themselves? Bob, I see you're coming in through the phone connection. You want to introduce yourself, Bob?
Sure, let me try and turn my audio on here for a little bit. I'm Bob Kerr, KA9MVP, coming from Sutter Creek, getting ready to take the trash out. We're going to hang out with me for a while.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Bob.
That's it.
It's really good to have you come in here with us too. Let's see, is that you, CA? Is that you, Bob? Having the apple? I'm not sure. It's a very small window, so. Who is this eating here? And no audio on you, just so you know. Check your audio. Yep, we see you waving, but
Yeah, Bob's muted.
yeah, Bob, you're muted, so.
You're a silent Kate.
No, don't say that. Oh, is that Eddie? Nod your head if that's you, Eddie. Can't tell because, let me see if there's a way I can force it over. We don't hear you though, just so you know. If your microphone's not working and you're on your phone, it could be because we've got something else open that it's trying to use. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. Yeah, I can't unmute you. I don't know why, but
Okay, there we go.
there you go.
There we go.
All right. I've got you named wrong. You're real tiny. Let me just make sure that's Eddie, right? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the group.
Me?
Yeah.
Me? Hi,
Yep.
it's Mark, AJ6FL.
Yep. Right.
I'm making onion rings.
Yeah, I see.
Careful.
Yeah, don't cut your fingers off. I can't.
No.
If you're gonna do it on camera. Well, some entertainment anyway. All right, so I've got the the new list. Oh, that's Bob back there.
Hey, Bob.
And I've got the new list for the club sign-in. I just reprinted it because we had few people who rejoined in the last month. One of them, I think that I think Jerry, you just rejoined us again last month. You popped back in again.
Yes, February. Yeah, I wasn't able to attend. I was able to get things organized, so in February I rejoined, anticipating I'd be coming back.
Right. I see Chris, AI6U is out there. Chris, want to say hello to the group? Let's see if we can hear Chris. Not hearing you, Chris, just so you know. Who else do we have? AP4MD. So I'm just going through the list here. David, K6CIM, he emailed me and said that he wasn't going to be able to make it, although he intended to, because there was a death in his family. I believe it was his father-in-law, and he had to take off for that. But he did email. He also mentioned that his cousin is in the ICU with the coronavirus. I don't know what underlying conditions he may have had in addition to having CV. So maybe he has heart conditions or some other ailment that got him into such a serious condition. I've asked David to email me back when he can, so I'll look and see if there's any answer on what that was. But if you're a religious person, whatever your religion, say a prayer for David's family and his cousin Jim. So I'm sure that he would be more than happy to receive your prayers for health and comfort for his family who's grieving the loss of his father-in-law. So let's see, I'm just checking people in here. Obviously, we don't have any swap meets. You probably saw on the homepage of the website, we had the cancellation of, I think it was the Loomis or Lincoln, which Katie was here.
No, I think you're thinking of Loomis.
Yeah, I believe it was Loomis then. So yeah, we had the cancellation of Loomis swap meet, but I don't know if they're going to reschedule it or if they're going to just have it another, or rather have it next year. Haven't been told that yet. So let's see. Somebody dialed in with the last 4 digits of 6865. Who's that there? You want to introduce yourself? Somebody dialing in and with the 916 number ending in 6865. Who's that?
Hello, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Oh, it's Chris. Okay, so you're
Yeah.
you're dialing
I
in.
can't,
Chris?
I can't get Zoom to work on the computer, so I'll try the phone.
Okay, no worries. I'm gonna rename you so everybody knows.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, John.
That wasn't John. That was our Apple
So what,
meeting.
John, say some more. Say something.
Oh, it comes up Apple for me.
Okay, I'll take
Yeah.
it. Oh no,
You're not John.
Mark was talking, not John. And I
Sorry.
said Mark is the one making the apple.
Here you go, honey.
The onion.
Here's your glasses.
So, all right. So Chris has been renamed. And I see Andrew's here with us. How you doing, Andrew? Good to see you.
Hey.
Anna, you just, there you go.
I'm doing good, Mike. And
Good.
hello, everybody.
Good. Glad to have you here. So people are popping in and out. I I see people are coming in. Let's see here. Carol, are you here where you can hear us yet?
Did I lose you?
No, you're good, Chris.
Sorry.
Here.
Okay.
Carol, are you here? Okay, well, she's logged in, but I'm not hearing her. I just went ahead and muted that, so if you need to, Carol, go ahead and unmute.
It's like a graphic, huh?
Yeah, but it almost looks like it's being set as a green screen view because you'll notice that it's fading in and out, which means there's
Right.
somebody sitting there.
Yeah. You got some QRM in the background. I hear kids.
Yeah, that's okay. So in any
You
case,
might have the problem here because I'm only one here.
I don't know that there's a lot of business or not club business, but swap meets and any of that sort of stuff going on. Obviously, it's going to be a slow time. Our CW class was supposed to start on the 8th, and it looks like we'll probably have to delay that by 2 or 3 weeks. The church where the class is held, that is closed. They're working off of the governor's orders on conducting business, so they're going to be closed until the governor says stay at home is released.
It's okay, yeah.
Now it's
pretty
possible.
typical, I think.
What's that?
That's pretty typical. Most churches, just pretty much everything they're doing is online as far as services go.
Yeah, I've already set them up with broadcasting, so our church is definitely doing Sunday services with a single camera right now, which is working out. It's doing pretty well, but yeah, they actually in Florida, if you didn't hear, they said that church was essential, so people could actually go to church there. And then the one pastor who had a congregation last Sunday, they arrested him for doing it. Now he said that even though it's legal, he's not going to have services next Sunday. So kind of interesting that once they let him, and he doesn't do it. So, all right, let's see. Do we have anything? Does anybody have any club business that they want to discuss before we move on to the next subject?
I'd just like to say, Mike, thanks for setting this up. This is pretty cool, I think. Yeah,
it works out well. It gives us an opportunity to actually have a meeting, at least see each other. I was hoping that maybe some of the people from the other side of the country who are members would join us so that we could see some pieces of out-of-state guys. That would have been to have. But
it might take a minute too. There's maybe a little bit of a learning curve to get it down. It's fairly simple, but
yeah, I've never done it before. Yeah, yeah. I know what I didn't. I probably forgot to put my participant ID in there. And I got
right. Well,
the screen. I can't get out.
If for some reason,
that's probably why I don't hear anything on the computer.
If for some reason you have to do this meeting again next month through the computer, know that the link that I sent you in the email is actually clickable, and then you don't need to know the user ID or the password. It'll just launch you right into the Zoom program, into this session, and it'll name you based on your email information. So everything's done for you.
Yeah.
Clicking that link. So that should have worked for you, Chris. You should have just been able to click the link.
Did I put that link in the, when I bring up Zoom, did I put that link in the join meeting?
No, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is click on the URL link that I sent to you in the email, and it opens Zoom for you and puts you in the conference.
Yeah, I did that, and it took me to a place and want me to upload Zoom, and I did all of that. So I got Zoom installed.
Yeah, it
So-
should have just brought you right here.
Chris, there is a password associated.
I got the password.
Maybe you didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, you don't need the
Yep,
password.
I got that.
The password is
Okay.
only necessary if you're manually entering the ID and joining the meeting. If you're clicking on join, then you need it. If you're not clicking on join and you're just using the link, it will automatically log you in. So what I'm doing now is
Yeah, I'll play with that.
going to the W6SFM webpage, because on the page I actually said that I would give the information for the meeting on the web page, and I didn't change it because I did put it in the calendar, and everybody should have also received a reminder. I don't know, did anybody receive a reminder email about 20 minutes ago?
No,
No.
I
Okay.
didn't.
Nope.
Yeah, Google
didn't look.
was supposed to.
Oh, wait, I did see it come through, but I didn't read it.
No reminder here.
Yeah, I didn't check my email, but it was set up to do it. He posted, I'm just going to tell everybody, posted in the calendar. April 2nd. Okay, so I'm just updating the website while we're talking here so that
Oh my God, dog. Oh, sorry.
no worries. So I do see we're streaming, and then I see that you actually I just streamed that, which is not what I meant to do, but it's okay. There's no secret information in there. But I did just change it so that people online can see that under the calendar. Let me see, I think I can screen share this. This will be kind of interesting. I'm already sharing this on YouTube as it is, but if I screen share this here, let's see if this works. Okay, so if you look at the page, you'll see that this is what I was talking about. I just changed it here so it says calendar. So in the future event, if you don't get the email, simply go to the calendar, and when you click on the calendar, it gives you all this information about tonight's. It tells you the URL, and it gives you the ID and password. So everything is there. So if for some reason you don't get an email and we do meeting, or rather Zoom meeting next month, you can always get this information on the website by looking at the calendar and looking at the homepage. I'm finding a lot of people are not reading the homepage as frequently as they should. Under news and events and page, there's a lot of really good information that you can be making use of. So don't hesitate to website. Also, since we're on the topic, if you go to the website and you look, if you look at the website, you'll see that we have the links page, helpful links. This is really good information that people will email me and ask me questions about when is something, or when that swap meet is or whatever. But look here, the contest calendar shows you all of the contests going on when you open that, and then here's the DX. If you need to look up somebody's amateur radio license, if you don't want to use QRZ.com, this is the FCC's ULS system. And then also, if you have a complaint about somebody on the air, you can even file your complaint from our website here. It'll bring you to the FCC page to do that. Here's the swap meet calendar, gives you all the information about the swap meets that are going on.
I'll stay over here.
And then up here is everything about Morse code. So if somebody asks you, where do I go to get training for Morse code, obviously you tell them your club first. But if for some reason they're farther away, you can always go here. Great things about learning CW. Here's a CW Academy if they're trying to take a test and they need to know where to go. CW Academy has some good stuff, and so does the AM Test Online. That's a great location. And then there's all the ARRL information, including the band plan. This is our IRU2 region band plan. So if you need to know what it looks like, this here is if you don't have this and you didn't receive it from me already, you should check this out here. This is a link to the ICOM amateur radio band plan. So it's in full color, and you can, of course, see everything through microwave all the way down to the new 2200 meter band. So it's got everything, and it's color coded that lets you know who can use it and for what. So extra is yellow here, advanced obviously is the advanced is orange, for those who are still holding on to their advanced license. And they even have the novice technician stuff marked out here. So this is a really complete graph. I give this out at the CW class, so those who take my class, they always receive an ICOM band plan. So that's right here on the home, not on the home page, but on the helpful links page, the IRU2 region plan, and then the ICOM printable PDF for the band plan. And that will get updated if there's any changes in the coming year. Other local clubs, if you need to get information on any of these other clubs, they're all listed here. So this is everything probably within 300 miles of us. If you don't see a club that you know of, let me know, because I'd like to add them on there. And then this here is a nice little bit. If you never got to see it on the home page, I've now moved it to the helpful links page. This is a little KPH and K6 KPH story that was done, and RD is there, and they talk about KPH. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. It's a pretty cool little video. Of course, KPH is one of the stations we promote. And then for the kids, we got comic books, and then antenna information. This is a really, really helpful link here. This is the random wire lengths made easy. And basically what it does is it explains to you what length to make your wire so that it is non-reactive on any particular band. So you can use it as a random wire, or you could use it as a doublet, for example. That way you'll be able to tune it with an antenna tuner for all bands. So here's his revised list. These in green are the good for long wire antennas. So if you're just looking for the correct length, 29, 33 and a half, 41, 58, these are really great lengths. You're going to get your best operation and your most amount of tunable bands to use. And then this is just showing you what the half, second, third, fourth multiples of each of those frequency are in length, in feet, that says. So, and then he tells you why you don't want to use that, and it is because if you're tuned to a particular frequency here and it is a multiple, it's going to be a horrible multiple for another band, and it will not allow you to ever tune that frequency for that antenna. So maybe 80 will be great, but 40 meters, it'll just be too far out of the band and it'll just make it difficult. Or when you get up into, for example, 30 meter band, it's going to be just so bad that you'll never be able to tune. It'll be such a high impedance antenna. And then finally, these two down here, the reverse beacon. When you click on this reverse beacon, it defaults to W6SFM. All you have to do is simply put in the call instead of W6SFM that you're looking for, and you can see here we were reported at this speed here on this date here. So interesting. Let's see here, 26th of March and the 11th. Probably this is John. Well, I don't know. What was going on the 26th of March? That's somebody using W6SFM as a call on 40 meters. This makes sense. This is the net. Obviously, John is calling out CQ for the on-air net, and it's catching him at 15 words a minute, and that's perfect because we tell everybody the net runs 15 words per minute below. But it looked like somebody was calling CQ on the 26th as W6SFM. That's not good. Figure out who's using the call when it's not assigned. All right, and then finally the DX Summit. If you're not familiar with a DX spotting page, this page here gives you all of the DX, who's reporting them and who they're hearing and where they are. So it has a bunch of filters here. You can change the filters so that it's just the CW band. It's just, you know, if you wanted only 40 meters CW, and then you just hit filter, and now you're going to only see 40 meter DX. And this is who's reporting it. So here's KB4LA reporting 4A60F, and this is special event station in Mexico. So that's how you use the spotting list if you've never used one before. This is really helpful. You can even filter it so that you're only looking at DX being spotted by somebody in California or somebody within a few hundred miles of you. That way, if you're not getting the same DX as everybody else in the country, you obviously don't want to see who the person in England is spotting, because you're not going to hear who the person in England is hearing. So on that note, I'm curious to know, has anybody done any radioing this week? Have we had any DX stuff along the week? If you have, let me know. Let's hear it. Anybody? Katie, have you been on 20 meters working DX this week? No.
Nope.
Okay. Art, I know you're active on the radio. What have you been working lately? Not hearing that.
I made a contact with another retired teacher in Colorado on 30 meters, but that's not really DX.
No, not bad. Anybody else have? Nobody? Nobody's been on the radio?
Yeah, I've been on 20 meters and 30 W in the park running QRP. No DX, you know, just the normal distance for the band.
Right, okay. I haven't looked at my log, but I know I worked some Japan, and I worked some Mexico. I worked a Brazilian station, and I think there was a DX station. I can't remember who it was, but they were down in South America. It was a DXpedition, some island.
Okay. Let's see. I worked at Victor Papa 2, Victor Bravo on 80 meters here. What was that? Oh, on the March 15th. So that was some good DX on 80.
All right. That is. I think
Yeah,
I
I
worked
worked
that station, but not on 80.
Yeah. Then I got 3D2AG on 30 meters here the other day.
Oh, who's that?
What did I say it was? 3 Delta 2? Alpha Golf, yeah.
Three golf or
80, 30 meters. Yeah. And let's see what else here. There's a BPA. I got the BPA expedition. I got him on, let's see, 40 and 30. And where else? There's 40 meters. I guess that's what I got him on, 40 and 30.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I just
Anything else?
got
Nope, good.
I just got in a 6 bureau envelope with a few cards in it. I don't even know what's in there, but I'll bet you that some of them are going to be pretty darn old. Let's have a look and see what we have. CT11UA, which is where is that? Portugal. And that contact, let's see how long it took the Bureau to get it here. The Bureau, this was from 2011.
Oh, that took a while.
It took a while.
Talk about snail mail.
Yeah. Here's Japan, JA1OAF. This one was 2018. It's not that bad, 2018. And then TX5EG, which is a nice card. This one, that was pretty good. That one
good one.
was, where's that? French Polynesia. And
French
the date on
Polynesia,
this one was 2017. So I've got 2017, 2018, and 2011. Now, you laugh at that, but I'll tell you why that's the case. The reason that it's like that, same reason that I've got this stack here. This stack is my stack that I need to send out to the ARRL to process through the Bureau. They charge, I think it's like $5 a pound, and then you just mail them to them. But, for example, this card here is going to 9V1YC. The date on it is 2013. So, listen, I've got China here, 2013. It looks like I haven't sent cards to the Bureau since 2013, but I've got them going all the way through 2017. So, it's time for me to send this off so that somebody else can get a card that's 5 years old through the Bureau.
You got 5 pounds worth?
No, I don't. That's why I neglect to send.
Yeah, same here. Here's another one I worked too with HE1DL, where HE is. I don't know where that is. I worked them on 80 here.
Like South America. Now, if you have DX cards that you send through the Bureau, give them to me because the club is an affiliated ARRL club, and I believe that entitles us to send all of the club members' cards together so we can put them in one package. The club can pay their postage, $25 or so, to get them to Newington, Connecticut, and we can send off a huge box of DX QSL cards and have them distributed through the world for the Bureau. So if you have Bureau cards that you want to send out, you've been holding on to like I have here for 1,000 years, go ahead and let me know, and we'll group them all together. We can easily come up with 5 pounds of cards. This year is probably about half a pound. So that half a pound is ready to go. So when we send it, it will only cost the club a few bucks, and everybody will have their cards going out at one time. So, like I said, let me know if you have DX Bureau cards. A lot of people are now using the Broad Book of the World instead of sending DX QSL. Understandable, it's a lot easier to send DX cards.
Mike, it'd be helpful if Mark, AJ6FL, muted for a little while he's preparing food.
I got it. I'll put you, Mark. Don't worry. I just did it.
Thanks.
So,
Here.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. So, all right. Yeah, I got you. You're muted too, Katie. Carol, I see you're here now. So did you want to say hello to everybody? Do you have audio? I noticed you're muted.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm sorry I had a conflicting on the air net at 7 p.m. so I made it here as quickly as I could. Glad to see everybody here. This is awesome. Thank you for doing this, Michael.
Of course. Glad that you could join us. So welcome.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I'm sorry. Did you? I had a question. Did you see my email about the VE session down in Stockton?
I got an email. I don't know that I saw that it was from you, but I do believe I saw an email. Let me check the email now. Did you send it to N6MQL or to the ad?
I think it was to admin. The thing is that all of the VE sessions are pretty much closed down because of this coronavirus thing, but the Stockton Delta American Radio Club is holding VE sessions, and it's only by pre-registration, and they have a special setup where they're spacing everybody 6 feet apart because it's a tremendous demand. People want to get licensed now, and they can't find where to get licensed. And I mean, the general public has this anxiety about trying to communicate and connect with the world. And now they're finally trying to get their license when there's no VE sessions around.
Right. That makes sense. I don't see it in the admin email, so if it's not already happened or if it's coming up, I'll put it on the website.
Yeah, I'll resend it to you, okay?
Okay, yeah. Just make sure you're sending to the admin for the club stuff so that I can on the laptop. Because this laptop doesn't have access to my personal email. Everything is 100% club on this computer. So let's see. Does anybody else have anything that they wanted to add to the meeting? Any other information? Make sure you unmute yourself if you do. No?
Okay, I think I'm on here.
Yeah. Actually, I see you on here twice, Chris. I don't know if you have your computer on and your phone calling in at the same time.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I see also you have your computer on too. All right, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry, I didn't
Oh,
mean to.
no, I mean, you need to turn that off. Let me turn that computer off. I heard an interesting story today. One of the local hams here, K6CON, was on the radio talking to some guys the other day, I guess, yesterday. And he didn't make any sense. And so his buddy tried calling 911, and they didn't have any luck with that. So one of the guys in Rio Linda called the sheriff, and they come out and hauled him off to the hospital. He had a stroke. So saved his life probably.
Well, that's great news.
So that was kind of interesting. Yeah. Had a stroke right there on the air.
You know what? I was corresponding with Art. I know this is off topic, but it just popped into my head. And as you know, I have very short memory. So I was corresponding with Art, and he was mentioning that there's a club in, where is it, New Jersey, Art?
No, it's Long Island CW Club. If you Google it, it's a really good organization. Online meetings like we're having now, except that we practice code and we practice listening, and we do head copy and stuff like that. $30, and they have a treasure trove of different Audible files to go over. So I find it really neat.
And the reason I mention it, because obviously we teach a class for the CW beginner, but Art, you're taking that class because you want to improve your speed. So it sounds like they have an intermediate class.
Right. Intermediate and advanced. They try to run the class at about 25 words a minute, but inevitably they will slow it down for people like me. That's a good, in these days when you can't go to the store without putting your life in jeopardy, it's really neat to just get on and practice some code and connect with other people. There are members from Canada, Great Britain, a couple from California, many more from the East Coast, but it's a really, it really is cool. Money well spent for $30.
Okay.
by really helpful people.
Excellent. So for those who are interested in taking an advanced course, I know I said I was going to offer one to get people's speed up, but I only had about 4 people who were really interested. Not that the others weren't interested, they just weren't at that point yet. So we didn't really do much with that course for the intermediate. So Art, what's the web address? Do you know for that one?
Let me get it for you right now. Oh, that's easy. It's Long Island CWClub.org.
Long
There it is. You
Island.
can hear it. Long Island
CW Club.
CWClub.com.
.com or .org?
Let me check again. You got me going now.
I think it was org.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's Long Island CWClub.org.
Okay, great. So thank you for that. I think there's going to be a lot of people who will want to take that intermediate course. And of course, when you're done with
And it's really cool, Mike, if I may interrupt, you can join anytime. Anytime. You don't. It's not like if you missed 3 weeks and you didn't go through Q and L and stuff like that. You can join anytime. You're welcome, always.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. What happens when you do join in the middle of a course? Do they just repeat certain things on certain days, or because I know it's a live Zoom or some other type of online.
It's just
course.
like this. It's a live Zoom. You have kind of like an instructor, more like I would call him like the group leader. People come in to experiment, to discover what level they're at and compare their level with the rest of the class. No matter what level you're on, you're always welcome. At that head copy class, we had one guy who never even did a paddle, never did a straight key before. But, he was welcome. And they encourage you to just kind of like surf around. If you go to the website, you can look on their schedule, and it'll show you what's going on through the week and when they're going to be holding classes. I will say this. I think I mentioned to you, Mike, your class is a more formal classroom, better organized, better instructional preparation and better goals where you want to take the class. I'm not saying they aren't good, they are good. But one thing that you do, which is, I understand why you do it, is that you try to get everybody a straight key, from the beginning, so they have it. You don't want to go in brand new to CW with an iambic paddle like I did, So and that's what they have to. That's what they're struggling with this class. Is that some people, they never ever did it before, and so they got themselves a bug, and they don't know how to slow down the bug, and all that. But definitely a good resource.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. And then I hope that when you get done, we'll be able to get you on the air for a 25 word per minute QSO then.
I hope so.
I'm confident.
It's slowly getting there.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident because I know that you worked really hard when you were in my class, and I don't see any reason why you wouldn't do the same for theirs. So if you really want it to happen, I know it will.
That's the thing. I'm training my ear now. I'm getting used to things being sent at 25.
Now, I know that you were doing those lists that, 25 or 100 most used words. Is that part of their course as well?
Yeah. Actually, it is, Mike, but that's more like on their resource files. For example, I think I was describing, they have some files that so MP3 files, you're always welcome to go and access. And they have like these 10 or 12-minute audio sessions. And what they'll do is they'll send a word at 25 words a minute, and they'll repeat it 4 times. The first time you go, oh my God. The second time you pick up maybe 2 of the 5 letters. The third time you kind of get it. And so you slowly get into that, and then there's the next word. And then they work on that 4 times in a row, and then your brain starts, copying it. And then the lessons themselves go on for get more complicated. Like one, it drove me crazy. They're sending the word sentence at 25 words a minute. Yeah, S-E, the N's and the T's, and then another N, then a C. And it was really, really throwing me off. But I finally got it. And so they're really good. I mean, if you want, I could play one of their files if you want to hear it for just a couple seconds if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead if you have something.
Yeah, sure. Hang on.
I know there's a few people on here that would be interested.
Okay, yeah, hang on, please. Let me get to it. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so we're going to start off with this one. Okay. Okay, ready?
Yep.
That's the, of course.
Yep.
And then you go, and then the break.
Yep.
And the next one. Okay, so I could handle that, obviously. But then they get, then your next word. So the thing is, you don't get lost.
Right.
Or if you do get lost, you have 10 seconds, then you get the next word, and you can stop it anytime you want. But there's a lot of files like that. As I said, I've seen similar files advertised on QST for like $250.
Wow.
Yeah. So
my only gripe with that would be, obviously, it's computer-generated code as opposed to a hand fist. So there's no personalization of the code in there.
No, you're right about that, but
it's like Chris is playing with his radio, so
okay. But you get the idea. You have to. I agree with you. Personalization in the long run, it can make it a lot easier, especially if you're used to the person who's sending.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things in the class that I teach is how to copy a human fist as opposed to a computer. Because if you learn how to copy on a computer, then when you hear a human fist, it's just near impossible to actually understand it. Especially when, like Carol there is sending on her. You never know what you're going to get when you listen to somebody with a bug. So it's a whole different world of CW.
Well, I remember one time, it was about a year ago, I was at a QSO with this guy named Jim from Arkansas. And I swear he was sending with a Southern accent. The way you drawl out a word, with the rhythm of the thing. I loved it, but he definitely had an accent to it,
Yeah, very typical for that swing on the bug.
Right.
Absolutely. Even though on a iambic, you still hear personality. Not because the characters are not correct, the spacing that is, but the spacing between each of the letters has that characteristic. That's what creates personality for somebody on an iambic key. So even with an electronic keyer, you can still tell understanding most of the time, anyhow.
Yeah, who's
Yeah, like
absolutely.
Yeah. So,
like
yeah.
Geem for Jim. Yeah, that's
Right, yeah. Or even like we were talking about before, that guy who had Parkinson's or something, and everything had an extra 2 or 3 dits at the end. So if it was, did-a-da dit, it was did-a-da dit, like that. And,
yeah.
but if you talk to him, somehow you're just able to understand everything he's saying, because you know what things are supposed to be.
Right.
So
Right.
brain,
Right. Once you hear it.
yeah, if you've learned how to copy using a human hand opposed to a computer, then those kind of things are easily overcome. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So in
Well,
any case, I was looking at the calendar here, and if this is another bit of information, if you didn't already know, when you look at the club calendar, if I could actually find it, I don't know where it went. Look at the club calendar, you'll see that at the very bottom, or around the day of the meeting, it shows you uh, who's bringing snacks. So if we look today, it's not listed, obviously, or maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, it's not. But it was Phil's night. So I see Phil's not here in the room with us. So I guess there won't be any snacks tonight. Sorry about that.
Just so you know, Mike, Phil is really, really, really concerned about this coronavirus thing. And he doesn't want to really, I mean, on the air, yeah, but he doesn't want to meet anybody.
Oh, no, I'm sure. I can understand. Most of the people are apprehensive in the CW class, and I've even guaranteed, first off, nobody's been in the room for almost a month, so any bacteria that would be in there is already gone from the surfaces. But I even said I would sanitize the chairs and the tables, anything they would touch. Plus, we could put everybody 6 feet apart, because those tables are 6 feet. And if we just sat on the ends of the table, you would easily have that social distancing. But I still had people that were concerned, understandably. So clearly, we're just going to wait. And in any case, like I said, the church is not open for business right now, so we couldn't really have the class anyway, unless we were out in the parking lot, which might be interesting, but not at 9 o'clock at night. Okay, so as you know, John, if you'll turn your camera back on. Oh, and hang on, Bob back here is getting a little loud. You okay, Bob? You all right? Okay. I know Era's asked about that image. I'm just in the big radio room tonight. I decided to come into the shack at the house here. So, but Bob, he's yeah. Just say hello. Wave. We don't want to wave. So it doesn't matter. He's doing his thing on the radio while we're here. Luckily, there's no RF getting into the Zoom meeting. But I don't have the treasury. I don't have the treasury information on me right now. I can get that, but what I would like to do is go into our last hour here and talk about the bogus bogus story contest. I saw Carol had that on her desktop image for a while. That's the trophy here. You can see that obviously on our website. There's a whole page dedicated to the bogus story contest. And just out of curiosity, if you would, please let me know if you have a story. I know I have a long story that I wrote a while ago. I'm sure, John, you've got a story, right? He's trying to figure out.
Yeah, I got a story.
All right. Carol, did you bring a story with you tonight?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Art, you have a story, I believe. Okay. And then Erez, I assume you do. You
Yes.
sent me yours as well. Does anybody else here speak up if you have a story that you're going to read tonight?
I don't have a story, but I do need to check out.
Okay. All right, Jerry. We were going to need your vote. So maybe what we'll do is we are broadcasting to YouTube. I'll make sure that it gets updated to the videos page. And maybe what we'll do is we'll take our final vote online and have the results by Tuesday's meeting, and we'll announce our winner for the trophy. That way people who are watching can vote, because even though anybody who's at home quarantining themselves can hear, I see that not everybody, we don't have 60 people filling windows. So that will give them an opportunity to vote online. Are you okay with that, John?
Yes.
Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to check the treasury report while I listen to John's story. Do you want to start us off, John?
Do I want to what?
You want to start us off?
Sure.
All right. So go ahead and do that, and I will check while you do that.
All right. Can you hear me now?
We hear you now.
Yeah, you're good, John.
All right. Well, we did hear you. See if you can.
Okay. Trying to get the video going here.
Oh, all right.
Somehow I started the audio and lost the video.
Use that little touch stylus of yours.
I see everybody else except me. Trying to get I had it going earlier when I was testing it.
That's your phone, so if you want to just disconnect your phone and reconnect real quick, we can go to Erez and listen to his story while you disconnect the phone and then reconnect the phone.
All right.
So John's going to drop out here in a second, and then he'll come back. So Erez, are you ready?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you good. Go ahead when you're ready.
Good. Okay, I'm on. Okay, story. John Fishman, K0RNA, was diagnosed with coronavirus. While isolated at home, he spent most of his time working the X on his radio. 2 days later, John's coronavirus symptoms resolved, and he was pronounced free from infection. How did that happen? The coronavirus has an outer shell, much like the shell of a turtle, said Dr. Fisher, a respiratory medicine specialist. If the virus shell is compromised by vibrations, the virus can be destroyed. Much like that opera singer who can shatter a wine glass with her soprano voice, a strong radio signal can cause the coronavirus to vibrate and eventually self-destruct. Was Jeff's radio signal solely responsible for his cure? Further investigation by Dr. Fisher revealed that Jeff's vertical antenna had a metallic ball at the tip known as a corona ball. Was the corona ball the key to eradicating the coronavirus? While this investigation is still underway, hams are advised to check their verticals and ensure their corona balls are intact. Thank you very much.
All right. So an excellent story to explain how to get rid of coronavirus. So I don't know if I'm gonna, or I don't know that Carol would agree that that's wise medical advice, but I will definitely go check my balls on my vertical antenna and make sure that I'm absolved of any coronaviruses. Thank you. Or
Yeah, if you see any blue glow, then the corona ball is at fault.
okay, so I'm okay. Now I understand what I'm checking for. Thank you very much. But I don't need to cough in order to make sure we don't have to cough into the microphone to make sure that it's not a problem, right? All right, so let's see. John, are you back?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
We do. We can even see you.
All right. Let me get this turned around here. This, of course, is a trophy.
Oh, wow.
I'm more familiar with. But as a lot of ham radio operators at one time or another are disappointed that they don't have more room for an antenna. So I increased the real estate there and put up a loop antenna with open wire feed. And I put in 3 ground rods here on the edges. No video, huh? There it is.
You will in just a second.
There.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And on the other side.
All right, one more time. So I saw the post. Let's take a whole view, maybe back up just a little so we can see the whole thing.
It looks like a rhombic antenna.
No, it's a full wave loop.
Oh, okay.
With open wire feed line.
Right, we can see the line going up on the left-hand side, and then the loop going all the way around the property there. Why don't you hold still and say something, and I'll expand your view.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but if I answer, then it's going to turn the video back to me. So just go ahead and speak so it stays on you.
Okay, then I'm going to go right into my my new bogus story here. You guys have heard of the ARRL contest for homebrew straight keys. Well, this is just a little something that I whipped up here from Junk Box Parts, and when I say junk box, I really mean junk with a capital J. We've got a knob insulator here that's typical of house wiring in the 1920s and 30s. And we have a junction box cover, piece of uni-strut, and we even have the traditional shorting bar here. Can you still see it?
Oh yeah, you're the main focus for us here.
Oh, okay. And I entered this key in the ARRL contest for 5 years in a row and won all 5 years. And that's my bogus story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, okay, so that doorknob capacitor is, or doorknob, was that a doorknob capacitor or just a doorknob?
It's neither one. It's the way they used to wire houses. They put insulators on the joists and the knob and put the individual wires along it there. Yeah.
Yeah, tube and knob.
Knob and tube. Yeah, before
Knob and tube, yeah.
before Romex was invented.
How about that? Wow. Now that's something else. I'll tell you. That's how's that for small desk operation? Looks like it might be a little bit crowded for a table.
Yeah, unlike on your table, unlike what it shows on the video, which is appropriate for Bogus Day, your shack is actually not 150 feet long. So, yeah, it would be a little cramped there. Let me put a regular key here alongside of it just to give you some idea of the size of this thing. I mean, look at the size of that thing, you know? Yeah. It's deluxe.
Bigger is better.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So I
Yes,
guess
bigger is better. Yeah. And it works.
going old school there.
By the way, that you were concerned about the W6SFM showing on reverse beacon there.
Yeah.
Was that like 10 minutes before the net?
We could check, but I don't think so. It was on the 26th.
I
Oh,
was
it might have been on the
sending Vs.
26th. Yeah.
I didn't send the CQ, but I sent some Vs, to hold the frequency, 5 or 10 minutes before.
No, it was on Sunday 20th. That would be April. It would be Thursday the 26th. So it was last Thursday on 40 meters.
No, that wouldn't be me.
No, I didn't suspect it was. Maybe.
Wow, that's not good.
Yeah, maybe somebody on a boat didn't know how to send.
Maybe the machine made a mistake. You never know.
Yeah, or their sending was so poor that it couldn't clearly copy it. But it did receive the same call letter. It looked like about 8 times within that period of time that it was copied. So surprising as it is, it was definitely there. Well, thank you for showing us your big key and your story. A good one, of course.
Yeah, I was looking forward to in person. It's a little more impressive in person, but anyway.
You mean daunting?
What's that?
You mean daunting?
Yeah, that too. That too. It could be appreciated more.
Right. Well,
I'm thinking if we ever have a left foot CW contest, we could use this thing. Yeah, but it is state of the art here. It has a dust proof micro switch in there, so the contacts won't get dirty. And it does have the sorting bar.
Yeah, no, I saw the sorting bar. That's some sorting bar there.
Tuning up with with an old rig or something. Yeah. Or if it's pressed into land telegraph service, you never know.
Let's see that shorting bar one more time. Go ahead and give it to us.
There.
Yeah, and it's good for what? 10 kilowatt.
Yeah, the cathode keyed even. Yeah, that part would be. Not so sure about the micro switch.
Just make sure you grab it by that big handle instead of the metal.
The big handle?
Yeah, instead of the oven.
All up here, yeah.
Instead of it. Yeah.
But this is safe even for cathode keying because there's no contact to the metal here.
That's
no
right.
shock hazard because it's all in the micro switch.
And even if it were, you would be protected by the insulator.
Yeah, there you go. Now, if you put your hand to press this, that would be different.
Yeah. Don't be getting lazy and don't be using your elbow to key. That could be a problem.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've got a story. My story is a little long, but that shouldn't surprise anybody. This is something I wrote a while back, so if I don't read it overly impressively, then it's because probably I'm reading it for the first time in a year. Let's see, Bob, are you ready for the story? Yeah? Okay, good. You're paying attention, right? Okay. All right. So he's back there listening. Let's see here. So this is how RF saved the bands. For those of you who are just realizing that the solar cycle is coming back, and this is partly the reason why. So it's widely believed that the HF bands have been suffering what we know as a dip, or a bottom of the 11-year solar cycle. This is what's been considered the logical reason for the RF signals on the band. In recent years, those who operate on HF also found that this has caused the CW bands to be without much activity, that darn solar cycle. Well, in conjunction with the end of Morse code requirements by the FCC, operators were under the impression that this was a big factor in having less active hams on the CW bands. So clearly there's some sort of link here. For years, space weather scientists have been explaining the function of the 11-year solar cycle as coronal discharges, not to be mistaken with corona discharges, and sunspots as the way of changing the Earth's ionosphere and charging it. It's been understood that the charging of the ionosphere is, or flux levels, causes radio waves to bounce off the E and the F layers, allowing for long-distance DX operations. Well, it's recently been discovered that the sun's solar cycle is not actually a factor of the band conditions at all. In fact, scientists of the DX Engineering RF Studies Group has discovered that the poor band conditions are being caused by less CW operators on bands. DX Engineering Studies have been tracking this anomaly since the FCC dropped its CW Morse testing requirements 10 years ago. Comparing the pre-Morse code requirements to the post-Morse code requirements show that because people no longer had to practice for their exams, they began to abandon the CW bands. And this in turn has led to a drop in what is known as the solar flux levels. So studies conclusively show that as solar flux levels drop, so does CW QSOs on the bands. Like a chain reaction, those who were already licensed and previously operated on the CW bands, they began to abandon this mode due to fewer stations being heard. Studies also showed that CW operators were blaming their lack of CW contacts on the solar flux reports. Well, in fact, new studies found that CW transmissions were the cause and effect of this ionospheric flux levels. The more CW transmissions on the band, the higher the flux level and charging of the ionosphere. So in a recent QST article, DX Engineering's crackpot urged all ham radio operators to get back on the CW bands as soon as possible in an effort to save the ionosphere. The team emphasized that even though solar reports may say the flux levels are low and DX is impossible, if people operate on the CW bands, it will improve the ability for more DX contacts. Studies have also found that an increase of sideband operations has absolutely no effect on the solar. It's widely known that CW has a 10-to-1 power factor over sideband signals. Therefore, it would take 10 times as much power from a sideband station to have any effect on the ionosphere whatsoever. It would appear that only the operations of CW could save the band. Sideband operators are being asked to put down their microphones and pick up their keys once again, if they have them. With this in mind, the U.S. government has secretly tested the idea of funding Morse code beginners classes in an effort to get more new CW operators on the air. Along with this plan, a program set forth by DX Engineering's team in conjunction with the U.S. military and University of Alaska Fairbanks to complete the HARP high-power radio facility. And this joint effort was created to beam high levels of RF into the atmosphere in order to recharge the ionosphere with RF, therefore raising what was once called the solar flux levels. And this effort's been going on for about 2-3 years now, and it's yielded in what amateur radio operators have been viewing as the upswing of the solar cycle. The U.S. Department of Energy has proposed a new bill, H.R. 112, to the House of Representatives in Congress to rename the solar cycle the RF cycle. And this is an effort to get this information more widely distributed to the amateur public. So do yourself a favor, get on the bands, use your CW, and get that solar flux levels growing. That's what we need. And that's my story. And you wonder why you don't hear anybody calling CQ on the bands and why they're so dead. They're not dead. We're just not charging that ionosphere.
I hear a federal grant coming.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And our CW class, as you know, has been by the U.S. government in an effort to get those bands or the ionosphere charged. So that donation and as a matter of fact, or that grant rather, has can be reflected in our treasury report tonight, where we show $5,027.55 in the checking account and $2,036.09 in the PayPal account, for a total of $7,063.64, of which the CW keys are mostly paid for. We still have one or two to pay, and then the club will be holding strong, probably right about $6,900. So thank you, U.S. government and the coronavirus, or I should say Corona Ionosphere Enhancement Program for that grant that's coming out of the $2 trillion. All right, so with that said, Art, I believe you are up.
Okay. Everybody can hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, good. All right, the title of my story is called The Quest. Chuck Woodward, also known as CW, was new to ham radio. He was fascinated by the hobby, but was often frustrated with some of the challenges. He, like some other new hams, thought that after buying a new rig and antenna, he would be contacting Afghanistan and Antarctica. He did not factor in the learning curve all hams must experience. This led to frustration and the feeling that he alone was experiencing these problems, while all the other hams were easily making contacts all over the globe. One evening, CW ate a large spicy burrito, and after some frustration on FM, made contact with EZ-T0P. The call was mysterious. John. Okay.
Go ahead, Art.
All right. The call was mysterious, and there was no listed name, QTH, or club, but the operator was friendly. ZZT0P had monitored CW for a couple of months and understood the frustration. He conferred that CW's quest for perfection in HF performance may be misdirected, and a better goal would be to focus on learning, achievement, public service, and helping others. While dawn broke with the sun, CW had to get ready for work. On his commute, he pondered the meaning of ZZT0P's missive. He thought about his fellow hams and their years of dedication to the radio arts, their generous help and time, equipment, and lessons they had given new hams. CW then realized that the incredible journey of learning, service, and helping others is far more important than exotic DX QSOs. Moreover, CW concluded that as a new ham, his experiences would be incredibly valuable for other newer hams because they could better connect with CW's discoveries, mistakes, and his experiences. Now CW spends more time listening and learning. He is keeping a notebook for jotting down new ideas and experiments with antennas and circuits. He loves being successful, but also loves what he learns when things don't work immediately. He is helping others, especially newer hams, by asking what they need to get on the air. Somewhere out in the F2 layers, ZZT0P is looking down at CW's transformation with satisfaction.
Excellent. So can you hold that to the camera on the paper so that people can see his ZZ0TOP call sign?
I'm sorry. It's just a page out of a Word document.
No, I understand. I'm wondering if we could see that call because not everybody catches that call.
Yeah, I should graphics, yeah.
Yeah, so it was again ZZT0P. T0P, right. ZZT0P. You can write that down for yourself at home and check that out. Maybe it'll make a little more sense to you.
Yeah, right.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Art. Appreciate it. Give him a hand also. And a hand, Erez as well, everybody that Katie, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Excellent job all
thank you.
around.
I'm glad you liked it.
And I'm
Great.
definitely going to have to check my vertical antenna. I already know this. So, all right, let's see here. So again, what we'll do is I have this posted to the YouTube page. It's actually live right now. So if you want to go back and listen to any of the stories, listen to them all, you'll be able to do that after our meeting tonight. And then what we'll do is I'll ask you to please email me with a vote. You can just send that to admin@w6sfm.com, and then I'll tally the votes. So again, that's going to be Erez with his vertical story, John UBK with his giant key, and then mine for the corona ionospheric transmissions, increasing band conditions, and Art with his story of CW. A great guy, I hear, too. Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's very helpful, I have to say.
You've made a QSO with him too, huh?
Yeah, he's always looking to help everybody out there. It's pretty amazing how far CW goes, no pun intended. So, yeah, thank you for the story. Phil was going to do his presentation next month on the hands-on operation of SimSmith, and he has a small kit of inductors and capacitors, and using the SimSmith program, we will be able to try to solve for mismatches in SWR and tune a circuit so that the Smith chart in the SimSmith program is a perfect dot in the center of the Smith chart, exactly where it should be. As you know, we've been doing a lot of Smith chart and antenna designing. So next month is no short of that. We're going to have Phil coming in, and probably what we'll do, if we have the room to have a meeting in person, which I hope we do. And if we do, then we'll probably split the group so that those who want to do the hands-on portion can go. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Bob? Those who want to do the hands-on portion will be able to do that in the other room, while we can look at other information in the meeting room. So that'll be something for us to have fun with next month. If we do have a Zoom meeting next month instead of meeting at the normal club location, we'll probably find something else to do that we can do as a video presentation. Maybe we'll have a antenna theory or something like that, where we can actually take the slideshow from the PowerPoint presentation and display it in screen share here. So there'll be no shortage of commentary and visuals through the Zoom meeting. Actually, it'll be a great opportunity for that. If you have a presentation idea, if there's something that you're interested in learning about, let me know, because we're putting these presentations together for everybody in the club. We're not doing this because we just want to fill time. We're doing it because we think that there's interest in these things. For example, last month's meeting, we had the sloper antenna, which is really great for being able to put up a short antenna for a low band. Very excellent presentation by Phil as well. If I'm not mistaken, Carol, did you guys have that? Oh, you haven't had your meeting yet, have you? Was that last month's?
The sloper is going to be this coming Tuesday.
Okay, so this coming Tuesday, you guys will get that presentation. Excellent presentation. some good information on lengths and how to get that SWR down to nothing. And obviously, you probably read it in our newsletter. One thing that I'll ask you as the ARRL section manager, if you would continue the advertisement for the CW class, the Morse class. I don't know if you posted that up. I didn't see it, but.
Yeah, I have to update the, I'm going to go ahead and update the web page. Hasn't been updated in several months. I'm going to do that this weekend and also get it out on our social media outlets.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, because if you do that, then we can still take a few others. We're hoping, of course, that we'll be able to go back to the classroom sooner than later, but in the meantime, we can certainly pick up a few more students. Right now, we have, I believe, 12 people. We have, as a test, we have one person who will be taking the course virtually online. So he's out of state, and I've asked him to review the course and give me some criticism on, maybe the camera needs to be in a different place, or how I can make improvements visually as well as audio if it's necessary, and then to make sure that those who are watching in a virtual course will actually be able to learn Morse code and use it, as opposed to being left behind while they're watching and not understanding. So we do have 12 of, it's either 12 or 13 of the people who have signed up. There's a 9-year-old girl. There's two 13-year-old boys, and I believe an 11-year-old boy. So we have a few kids in this class, which will be good. I've already got a right mind to separate them all into different tables so that there's no chit-chatting between the people trying to learn code. You put 3 boys between 11 and 13 years old together in a classroom, and generally it doesn't always end up so well. So we'll get that situated so that we're not having an issue with that. So in the meantime, I've got the keys in from MFJ. They arrived, and I've got to put the little tokens. This is a great idea that Katie came up with in class number 5, probably, or 4. And yeah, so Katie had the great idea to use washers underneath the keys as like poker chips, like we used to do with straight keys. And I went ahead and printed W6SFM, the round logo that we have for the club. I went ahead and printed that up and got them on the discs so that the disc that's below the key knob is actually a W6SFM poker chip. So that's always nice, not just to have on the key, but it also promotes the club. And those people who take the class, even though they're mostly not members of our club, they'll take that with them, and for years and years, people who see that key, it'll always have the W6SFM logo and the website address. So a little shameless promotion there. But we're giving those things away. They're paying for the course, $2 an hour, not much to ask, but they're getting a free key, so the least we could do is get our logo on there, and they look really nice, I think. If you didn't get one and you took the class and you want one for your key, let me know. I don't know how many more I have after I do these next 13, but if you didn't take the class and you still want one of these for one of your keys, let me know. And if I have extras, I'll be more than happy to give them to you. They cost the club about 25 cents each, so each of them are about $0.25. Maybe next time I'll just drill a hole in $0.25 and put a sticker on it. It'd be the same value. So in any case, anybody else have anything that they want to share with the group? Because I think even though we're running a little early, I think we pretty much covered everything that we needed to talk about. I'll look through my notes here real quick. But please speak up if you have something you just want to mention, or anybody have any information, notes to give?
I'd like to just say that the Western Placer Amateur Radio Club Hamfest will be held September 19th at McBean Park in Lincoln, providing the virus doesn't cancel us.
And what was the original date? Was it September?
Yes, ours is always in September.
Okay, so your late year. I guess in this case, you'll probably get lucky and be that club that has 1,000 people show up to your swap meet, because
it grows every year.
Yeah. Well, I know you usually have a few hundred, but I think you might be overwhelmed with all the hams who from Reno to the Bay Area that haven't been able to go to a swap meet. So you better plan on letting that Elks Lodge know, is there, whoever that group is, they better bring out 20,000 hot dogs this time.
That's the Lions Club.
The Lions Club, yes. And thank you to them, because you cannot beat a hot dog at 10 o'clock in the morning when you've been walking around since 6 a.m. trying to, and of course you're selling coffee and donuts.
Mm-hmm.
One final thing about the Bogus Story contest. Obviously, we've had it already, and we're going to look for those votes. I'll even send an email out asking you to watch the video if you hadn't already, and to vote. Everybody can do that. It's not much to ask. Carol created a manual for the trophy, and inside that are explanations of her modifications that she made. And you see there's a, Bob, just hang on back there. There's a schematic, and that schematic is because there's actually a key and oscillator inside of the trophy that Carol put in there. Thank you for that. So a copy of that manual, actually, it's not just a trophy manual, but a user's guide in order to understand what you've got there. And then, of course, I'm really excited to see in person what John's done with the trophy up close and in person. So I think that I think what he has done is he's turned it into a replica of Carol's house. So this is like the Ode to Carol trophy now. But yeah, I don't know how big it is, but I'm guessing that this thing may have become a very large trophy that will easily occupy some good space on somebody's shelf. So it should be something that you'll treasure for the year. The winner will receive the trophy and have that on their shelf for 1 year. Next April, again, we'll revisit this Bogus Story event and once again judge for a new Bogus Story contest winner, or a revisiting of whoever the winner happens to be this time. So that'll be real fun. And when you have this trophy, it is your duty and your obligation to adorn it with something else, like John put on the full wave loop for, what was that, 160 meters, John?
Yeah, it's a 160-meter loop, and the next person needs to put a tuner on there for the wave.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Very good. So what you're saying is you didn't get the tuning proper on the loop?
So, say again?
You didn't get the tuning proper on the loop?
I can't do everything.
Well, I would have just suspected that you'd be able to get that thing tuned up. You've had almost a year now.
It's not easy to tune plastic.
I suppose that's true. If you had made your antenna out of PVC, that might have been a little easier to get the tuning because you'd have more capacitance.
Well, only if you put the flux capacitor on there, but that's a bogus story for another year.
Right. And you're going to be hard pressed to find it anyway, because I believe that Chief Auto Parts is out at this current time.
Yeah, it's because the reason for that is one of the key ingredients to that thing is toilet paper.
All right.
And without toilet paper, they just can't mass produce them.
That
So maybe by next year.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. All right, I think you're onto something for next year's story. how the coronavirus stole the toilet paper, tuning antenna, and the full wave loop. How coronavirus stole the toilet paper needed.
Yeah, you got to be careful of those flux capacitors, or they can really have to be careful.
Maybe somehow they can go back to the future and get those.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, thank you to everybody who's showed up. I see Rob is here. Rob is been sneaking quietly in the background. We haven't heard from him. Rob, do you have your microphone on? You want to say hello? All right. I'm going to assume he has no audio because we didn't hear him. But I will go back through the video and I will look at all the names because they were changing so much that I wasn't able to log everybody in. But I do have the new sign-in sheets that I just finished after Jerry renewed his membership in February. So I believe there's one other person who's missing on this list and two people who didn't pay. If you know Kevin, let me see his call sign, KI something, I believe, KI6, let me see if he's on here, KR6AI. I have not been able to get a hold of Kevin. You may know him as Ralph, that's his first name, he goes by Kevin. Ralph hasn't checked in, he didn't pay dues for this year, and he's been a member, I think, since 2015, so I was a bit surprised and concerned, to be honest. So I called his cell phone and I left a message and I sent him numerous emails, even asking him if he wasn't going to rejoin, to at least contact me back so I know he's okay. And I haven't heard from him. So yeah, I do have a little bit of concern. So if you hear from Kevin, KR6 Alpha India, please let me know, because I'd like to get some information. Maybe you'll hear him on a repeater, or maybe you'll see him somewhere. He did go out to the swap meet, so unfortunately we won't be able to see him in the swap meet as there are none until September. So, all right. Again, anybody have anything else they want to add before we close out here? Make sure you're unmuted. This is your opportunity now. All right. I see Chris is watching, but he doesn't have a mic. Katie, thank you for showing up. I hope you heal well. Okay. And then Bob, you're still with us. Thank you for hanging in there for this whole meeting. Erez, appreciate it as well. Thank you for your story. And John, excellent bogus story, and we're glad that you host that for us every year. Carol, I see you're ready for business again. You're going out for ice cream, it looks like. All right. So thank you, everybody. We'll send out an email as soon as we know what's going on with the church, whether we're going to be able to meet in person next month or if we're going to have to do another Zoom meeting. The club did purchase the Zoom software. It's a month-by-month registration. It's only $15. So we did that because if you don't purchase the Zoom software, then you're limited to 40 minutes with 3 or more people in a meeting. So
actually, they've canceled that. Anyone has no limit anymore for the duration of this health advisory.
Oh, is that the case? I did not know that. Well, there are some features that we get as a licensed operator.
Oh, you spent $15 when you didn't need to. I think the world's going to stop spinning here.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to demand a refund. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell him Carol said. But yeah, so it was $14.99, and I think it was well worth it because when I did sign up, that rule in place. So it's possible that rule happened before this meeting, but not long before it. I had already scheduled the meeting back on the 26th, I believe. So I think it's well worth it to not be interrupted. Oh, here's something that it does do for us. You get cloud recording. So this entire meeting was recorded to the cloud, and we can download it as an MP4 video. So that you don't get for free. We basically paid $15 for about 3 gigabytes worth of storage that we can turn into a nice video, and I'll compare the YouTube video recording that we have versus the cloud recording that they make, and see what options. It's possible that maybe I have editing ability where I can switch cameras with all the raw data. So that's something that I'll look into, and if that's the case, then it will be well worth it for sure. And then we'll ask John to edit the entire thing.
So when did you expand your shack, Mike? Looks like it's 50 feet long there.
No, it's only about 38 feet long. I've got that. This is off by the side of the pool, on the left side of the pool. I built it at the same time that Steve did, K7SF. He was building his shack, and I was like, hell, if he's going to get one over on me. So
it is a story night. This is the right night for that.
Yeah, no, it's real. And, you know, as you can see, I'm keeping my social distance from Bob here. He's staying in the back, so we don't have any problems with that. But as soon as the meeting's over, I'm going to ask him to slide back about 20 feet so that I can take the station here. We're going to get on the air with the 12 element 80 meter and see what we can get. But as a matter of fact, Bob, you need to crank that thing up. We need to get up to 200 feet. We're only at about 120 right now. So listen for us on 3545 for the 80 meter net on Tuesday. I'll fire this thing up, and Bob's always insisting on we run 2 kilowatt, and I keep telling him it's 1500. So
you're gonna fire what thing up?
The linear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this room here, it's a complete Faraday cage.
Uh-huh.
No RF. We have no RF leak out or in. And back here, all the way in the back here, we've got the entire Collins line. So those of you who like tubes, I'll probably be selling those at Katie Swap Meet. I'm trying to get all solid state in here. But I just took the stuff out of the junk pile and threw it on the shelves. This is just not for me. But I really like how all the cubbies are. It reminds me of the W6RO station on the RMS Queen Mary. That's the same. So I modeled the room after the Queen Mary. But in any case, maybe we'll have a contest over here. Either that, or we'll just use my shack in the house.
Yeah. Looks like you got enough room for about 500 people there. Yeah.
No, it's not really as deep as it looks. It's only 28 feet deep and 12 feet wide. It's not really. It looks bigger than it is. It's the camera angle because I'm so close to the camera. It makes it look. But the biggest thing that bothers me is this 80s lighting. I really didn't want the track lighting, but Lynette, she was just insisting on doing the track lighting. So whatever, you know, I'm not going to argue it. They're over it. She let me have the room, so that was good for me.
There's no way you could have done this in 40 minutes.
No. I mean, of course not. Not with the extensive bogus stories that we had to read. That in itself occupied at least that 40 minutes. So But yeah, so suck it, Steve. This is my shack. You know, we've seen your pictures, and it's tiny. So, you know, next time you're gonna build. That's a real shack there. That's my shack. So, John, you've been over here. You never saw the building, the outbuilding next to the pool?
No, that was after my cataract surgery. I saw it too. I guess
that's
did a good job.
That's right.
That big.
That's right. I had forgotten about that. You're right. You're right. So, yeah, everything's probably a blur for you now anyway. So it's difficult for you to actually see it when you come over. But I had Chris through here the other day, and he felt everything, so he knows it's real. Good enough. All right, then, guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming out to the meeting. It's great that we can have a meeting when there's so much chaos going on right now, and we can still get together as a group and enjoy each other's company. That means a lot. And I hope to hear you guys on the air now that you're all stuck in your houses. Katie will be practicing code, and Erez will be knocking out cues every day from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. probably. Carol, I hear you on the air all the time. I'm sure you're not going to give it up. Are you fully retired yet?
Oh, me? No, I'm gradually getting into that. Right now, my office in Roseville is actually closed for 2 to 3 weeks during the health advisory. So, but I am, the practice actually has been assumed by another doctor, and I'm just spending a few hours every week now just volunteering to help out with the transition of the patients. So, yeah, I'm really kind of hesitant to be in contact with a lot of sick people right now because I'm in the age range. I'm over 60 and I do suffer from asthma. So ideally, I'm really supposed to be staying at home. So I'm being very careful. I use a mask and I really don't get near anybody with fever and cough.
Right. I think I see, I think it's Doug that came. Is that you, Doug? I don't, WN6YQ, is that Doug? I think that's an old call for Doug, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, welcome. We're about to close out here, but glad that you could stop by. As I told everybody else, we're broadcasting live, and then we're also, you'll be able to rewind it and watch this whole meeting back on YouTube again shortly. So, all right, well, Carol, I'm glad that you're helping get everybody transitioned there, and soon you'll be running the Spark again, and on the air all day long. We need to set up a broadcast station for you. And John, this is a perfect time to get that fishing rod out and do some antenna setting up. Oh, you hang on, you're muted. Go ahead. Oh, I can't unmute you. You have to.
Sorry to hear about your broken leg, Katie. Take care.
Ooh. You're muted, Katie. There you go.
Am I still muted?
Not now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm walking again. I can't run anywhere, so we're hoping there's no fires at our house.
Let me ask you this, because when I broke my arm, I was no longer able to play the violin. But somebody asked if I ever played it before, and of course the answer is no. So my question to you is, before this broken leg, were you actually running?
You mean when I broke my leg?
No, before you broke it. I know how you broke it.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So you may never run again. Sad. Terrible. All right, guys. We actually managed to get all the way out to 5 minutes before the hour. Not bad. We didn't even occupy our break time. Like I said, actually, I don't know who. I think Phil was on the calendar for snacks. So whoever it was is now going to be responsible for double snacks next month. We meet in person. And if that person doesn't bring their snacks, then the next person in line, so that would be field day, that person will be responsible for 3 snacks. We may end up with a smorgasbord of food come June if we haven't met in person yet. So be prepared. Keep your bellies empty. Come hungry, because whoever's got snack night, that meeting, bring it on. I'm ready. All right. So thank you. I will say 73 to everybody, and I'll see you on Tuesday. John will be hosting the on-air meeting at 8 p.m. regular time, 3545 megahertz, 3.45 megahertz, and keep your CW under 15 words a minute, and wash your hands. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
You're very welcome, and we'll see you on Tuesday then. Until then, if you need anything, give me an email. Remember to vote. Everybody vote, and we'll see you then. Until then, hasta luego.